Speaker, the Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you Her Excellency Dr. Angela Merkel, Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany.
Thank you very much. It's very moving, I must say. Madam Speaker, Mr. Vice President,
distinguished members of Congress, thank you for the great honor and privilege to address you today, shortly before the 20th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. I am the second German Chancellor on whom this great honor is bestowed. Konrad Adenauer was the first, when in 1957 he addressed both houses of Congress, albeit one after the other. Our lives could not have been more different. In 1957, I was a small child of 3 years. I lived in Brandenburg together with my parents, a region that at the time belonged to the German Democratic Republic, the part of Germany that was not free. My father worked as a Protestant pastor. My mother, who had studied English and Latin to become a teacher, was not allowed to work in her chosen profession in the GDR. In 1957, Konrad Adenauer was already 81 years old. He had witnessed the German Empire, the First World War, the Weimar Republic, and the Second World War. The National Socialists ousted him from his office as Lord Mayor of the city of Cologne. After the war, he was one of the men and women who built the free and democratic Federal Republic of Germany. There is nothing more symbolic of this Federal Republic of Germany than its constitution, the basic law, the Grundgesetz. It was adopted exactly 60 years ago. Article 1 of the Basic Law reads as follows, and I quote, "The dignity of man is inviolable." This short and simple sentence, "the dignity of man is inviolable," was the response to the catastrophe of the Second World War, to the murder of 6 million Jews in the Holocaust, to the hatred, destruction and annihilation that Germany brought over Europe and the rest of the world. In only a few days, we'll mark the 9th of November. On the 9th of November 1989, the Berlin Wall fell. The 9th of November 1938, however, also left an indelible mark on German and European history. On this day, the National Socialists pillaged and destroyed synagogues, set fire to them, and killed innumerable people. It was the beginning of what later turned into the break with civilization that was the Shoah. I cannot stand before you today without remembering the victims of that very day and of the Shoah. There is one guest in the audience today who personally experienced the horrors of Germany and the National Socialism, and whom I got to know personally some time ago, Professor Fritz Stern. He was born in Breslau in 1926, then a German city, today a Polish city, and in 1938 he was able to flee with his family from the Nazis in 1938, and this at the very last minute. In his autobiography, published in 2006 under the title 5 Germanys I've Known, Fritz Stern describes the moment he arrived in New York Harbor in 1938, reaching a haven of freedom and security. Ladies and gentlemen, it is wonderful that history wills us Fritz Stern, then a 12-year-old boy driven out of his native Germany, and myself, originally born in the GDR, now Chancellor of today's reunited Germany, meet here today before this august assembly under the same roof. This fills me with great pride and great gratitude. In my wildest dreams, I would not have thought this possible 20 years ago, before the fall of the wall. For at the time, it was beyond my imagination to ever even travel to the United States, let alone stand here before you one day. The land of unlimited opportunity was for me, for a long time, impossible to reach. The wall, barbed wire, and the order to shoot at those who tried to leave limited my access to the free world. Therefore, I had to rely on films and books, some of which were smuggled by relatives from the West, to gain an impression of the United States. What did I see? What did I read? What was it I was passionate about? I was passionate about the American dream, the possibility for each and everyone to be successful, to actually make it in life through one's own personal effort. And like many other teenagers, I was passionate about jeans of a particular brand that you could not get in the GDR, and which my aunt kindly, regularly sent to me from the West. I was passionate about the vast American landscapes that seemed to breathe the very spirit of freedom and independence. And immediately in 1990, my husband and I flew to America for the first time, to California. We shall never forget our first glimpse of the Pacific Ocean. It was simply gorgeous. And this, even though for me, America seemed completely out of reach until 1989. Then, on the 9th of November 1989, the Berlin Wall fell, and this border, which had divided a nation for decades, keeping people in two different worlds, was now open. And this is why, for me, today is first and foremost a time to say thank you. I thank all those American and Allied pilots who heard and heeded the desperate appeal of then Mayor of Berlin, Ernst Reuter, in 1948, who said, "You, the nations of this world, cast your eyes towards the city." For months, these pilots flew food to Berlin through the airlift, saving the citizens from starvation.